Good afternoon, fine folks of YouTube. Welcome back to Maverick Baking and welcome to a long overdue recipe video. It has been a while. There's been a lot of food challenges and food reviews in between, but we are back and baking and I'm very happy about it. This recipe, as with all my recipes, of course, will be available in the description box below, as well as on my website, maverickbaking.com. Do be sure to check in there regularly because someone posts recipes there all the time. Today, I am sharing with you guys something that you can bake whether you are an experienced baker, whether this is your very first time in the kitchen, whether you just really want an excuse to eat cookies. Today, we are making chocolate chunk cookie bars. Now, these not only, in my opinion, encapsulate all of the best things about a good classic chocolate chip cookie. Crisp on the outside, soft and chewy in the middle, but they're also a lot less risky if you're a novice baker than regular cookies are. There's far less margin for error in terms of spreading or burning, and they're really, really just a bit sexy, to be honest. So today's video is just going to be a nice, relaxed walk through how to make yourself a banging tray of chocolate chunk cookie bars. Let's go.
Our recipe starts, as all good recipes should, with a good amount of softened butter and 2 kinds of sugar. We use white caster sugar just to get that nice crisp shell on the cookies, and the brown sugar to make sure the inside stays nice and moist and to give it a lovely colour. To this we add a little bit of vanilla extract. This doesn't have to be the most expensive stuff you can get. Just anything that will add a nice kind of vanilla flavour to the cookies will be absolutely fine. And with just a good old-fashioned wooden spoon, just mix this together until it's just combined. We don't want to beat kind of too much air into the mixture at this point. It should almost look something like wet sand. Don't need to take it too far at all. Don't worry about getting it too kind of light and fluffy like you would for a cake. It's not the goal here. We want the cookies to be nice and dense and chewy. So to add to this, we're going to just use some large eggs. I always use large eggs unless I kind of specify otherwise. You're going to crack 1 into the bowl and just, again, mix it until it's just combined. No need to go wild. No need for an arm workout here. And for the second egg, we actually just want the yolk. This helps add a nice extra bit of kind of richness to both the taste and texture. And we don't need the white because, as I said before, we don't kind of want too much lightness. So you can save that for an omelette, for a meringue, whatever you fancy. And just mix that second egg yolk in until you have a kind of, shall I say, sloppy, ugly mix. It might be a little bit lumpy, it might look a bit separated, but all will be well when we add the flour. Speaking of which, time to put your eggs away, lads. Get your flour. Just classic plain flour, nothing expensive, nothing fancy. You don't even need to sieve it. No one has time for that. And to that, you're going to add a nice kind of healthy pinch of salt and a little pinch of bicarbonate of soda. This just helps with the puffing up and crisping up of the edges. And again, you're going to just mix that in. You don't need to worry about being too kind of delicate like you would with cake or meringue or anything. You kind of want to get this nice and mixed in. If we activate the gluten and make these a little bit chewy, it's actually a good thing. To that, we're going to add our chocolate. I like to use Cocoa Runner's kind of milky, kind of dark chocolate, but you can use whatever you like. The bigger the pieces, the better, in my opinion. And again, you're just going to fold these into what should now be a lovely, thick, stodgy dough that is now just lovely and punctuated with all of those big chunky bits of chocolate. So just slide your bowl over to one side and you're going to take an 8 by 8 inch, that's about 20 by 20 centimeter tin that's been greased, and you've just whacked a bit of greaseproof paper in there or something that will make sure it won't stick. And you just want to use your spoon to just bung all of that dough into the center of the tin and try your best with said spoon or a kind of knife, whatever you have, even some clean hands, just to get it into a nice flat layer, which should look something like this. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for that demonstration. Thank you very much. So some of those chocolate pieces will be visible and the rest will just be that lovely dough. And if you have time, you can pop this into your fridge or even into your freezer for 15 to 30 to 60 minutes, however much you have time for. Chilling cookie dough really helps kind of amplify the texture and help those flavors develop. But don't worry, if you don't have any time to chill it, instead, at this point, you can just set your oven to approximately 170 degrees Celsius and you can get baking. But while you wait for your bars to bake, please enjoy this little interval of footage of this very hungry wasp who sat here for the entirety of time I was making the dough, desperately waiting for some sugar. But she didn't get any. Instead, I got some. This is roughly what your cookie bars should look like when they are baked. I just left them to chill once Mrs. Wasp finally vacated the area by an open window with it kind of cracked open for some fresh air. Once it's cooled, this will obviously kind of depend on how cool your room is and how much fresh air you get. As you can imagine, Scotland gets quite a lot, so they do cool quite quickly in my kitchen. But if they're taking their time and the chocolate hasn't fully set, you can put them in the fridge. Just make sure they're not too warm when you do so, because you don't want to upset all of the other lovely food you have in your fridge. Do never follow my knife safety tips. This knife is far too sharp for me to be throwing it around so willy-nilly next to my skin, as I did in this footage, which I have only noticed watching it back. But, you know, this is kind of what it looks like when you slice up cookie bars from this angle. And that's what you should do with them to make them into bars. And by that point, they should look roughly like this. You'll have just little pockets of that lovely creamy chocolate poking out the top. This is me sprinkling on some sea salt, which is totally optional, but I think it brings out and really makes the flavour of just about any baked good really, really pop. Once your bars are all cooled, all set, all salted up if you need them to be, this is what you should expect from them. A crisp exterior, a really just baked interior with that sort of semi-melted chocolate, and nothing but pure joy to eat.
And folks, that is going to be it for today's cookie bar video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this recipe, or if you just wanted to watch and you enjoyed the relaxing ASMR vibes of my chaotic voiceovers, I hope that served you well too. Of course, if you have any questions about the recipe, or if anything went a little bit wrong, if you did make these at home, do let me know in the comments or shoot me an email. Always happy to answer any queries, and I have had enough failures in my time to help out what I can. If you guys enjoyed today's video, don't forget to drop a cheeky little thumbs up on the way out, and do consider tapping that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps out the channel and encourages me to give you guys even more good stuff. But in the meantime, that is all I have time for, guys. Thank you so much as always for watching, and I will see you for the next one.